Hi everyone, I'm Joey from Someday Garage, and I'm here with my friend Mike. We're going to talk about cars we've owned, cars we'd like to own, some automotive stories. Mike has some good ones, so I hope you'll enjoy. No, welcome, Mike. I'm glad that you're here. I'm looking forward to talking to you.
Oh, I'm glad you're having me, man.
You've had a lot of interesting cars in your short life.
Sure, I've had a few.
Yeah, no, you got some interesting stuff. Like I know you've told me about it before. To the best of your ability, I guess. Let's go through what you've had so far.
All right. The first car I owned was the Buick Grand National. I believe it was an '86. I think. Okay. It was an exciting car to own, especially at my age. I was really young, just, I don't know, 16, 17. Yeah. So yeah, getting that car made me kind of like the guy on the block, I guess. Everybody loved that car. Yeah. Everybody wanted to ride in that car.
Was that this turbocharged V6 in that one?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Those are fun cars. I like those.
Yeah, it was a fun car. I mean, I guess I can say I had a few police chases in that car.
What color was that one again?
Black. All the Grand Nationals were black.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had the T-tops on it, which was great. I loved it. Especially like in the warm weather. I would drive from Rhode Island, so I would drive down to Newport sometimes, and I'd take the T-tops off. I would play Van Halen, and oh my God, I loved it.
God, man, I'd love to do that back in the day.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. Yeah.
No, that's a fun car. Really great car for a 17-year-old.
Yeah, it was. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. I know. I mean, it's good and bad. Yeah.
Yeah, good and bad. Like I said, a couple police chases that were pretty scary. There was something else I was just thinking of. Whatever. Maybe it'll come back to me. There was another event. Oh no. That was probably also one of the first cars that I got into an accident in. I don't remember how it occurred, but it was at a red light, and it was a head-on collision with another vehicle, and I had a concussion from that.
Oh, okay.
But they fixed the car back up, and I went back to my bad behavior.
Oh wow, they didn't write it off. That's pretty cool.
No.
Wow, okay.
It was a head-on collision, but just enough.
Okay.
I don't know. Probably back then I wasn't wearing my seatbelt, and I didn't really think about that back then. Yeah. So I kind of slammed into the roof.
Okay.
So yeah. So that was exciting.
I didn't know. I never knew that story of that car. So, that's cool.
And I'm sounding like a terrible person or a terrible kid at that age.
If only they knew.
If only they knew, right? Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
No. Okay. So that was your first car. Do you remember what was next?
So I went into the military after that. I kept that car in Rhode Island. I can't remember. I don't remember if I ever brought it down to Virginia or not. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. I may have actually. But after that, I want to say, I think it was the Chevy Blazer.
The Blazer. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me you had like an 80s or early 90s Blazer.
Yeah. It was gray with, I believe, some red trim on it.
Okay.
That was,
Yeah.
It was just, I needed a vehicle out of the military, and I liked it, and I probably paid too much for it, as usual, because I was in a military community, and all the dealerships would definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So you traded the Grand National, or you had two cars for a while?
No, I had two cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I think, I want to guess, I know he's told me this whole story before. Was next the Accord? Or was there something between that?
I think the Accord was next. I also had the motorcycle.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know anything about bikes. So what type of bike did you have?
Yeah, it was a Honda CBR 600 F2. It was the at that time again, like the bike to have, basically. It was on the cover of all the magazines at the time, which is why I wanted it, which was dumb. But but I got it. I didn't know how to ride it at the time. I actually had one of my shipmates go to the dealership and bring it back home for me, because I would have killed myself even trying. And I practiced in the lots around our house. I got proficient enough to where I could drive it around reasonably well. Went down on it a few times, and then I got to a point where it's like, okay, I'm going to kill myself on this bike. This bike is too much for me, and so I sold it to an F-14 pilot who wanted to race it. So
nice.
Yeah.
You got probably two of the fastest vehicles on the planet. F-14 and the CBR 600.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'll go fast in the air and on the land.
And I did go in the air with the bike because I flew over the handlebars one time. So, and that's at the point where it's like, okay, I got to get rid of this.
Yeah, no, I rode on the back of a motorcycle once in high school, and I will never ever get on a bike again in my life.
Oh, well, I did take one of the kids that was on the ship on the back for a ride one time, and I can't believe he trusted me enough to get on the back of this motorcycle with me. But yeah, so I did it. And it was fun while I had it, and I don't regret having it. I like bikes a lot, but at that point it was like, okay, this is too much for me. I should learn on a different bike. But yeah, after that, after I got out of the military, that's when I got the Accord. It was an Accord Coupe, and it was a manual,
yes.
So that was fun to drive.
I remember you telling me that car.
Yeah,
you said that was black too. But you like black cars.
I do like black cars. That was all black, and I believe it had like maybe a tan interior. I think, yeah, or it might, that might have been a gray interior. A gray interior. So I think it was gray actually.
No, I know that generation Accord. I actually myself I prefer the one before it. I think that ended in '93. I want to say that's the CB7 generation, the one before that. I don't know what the chassis code is of the one that you had, but I can picture it in my head.
Okay.
It's unfortunate that they don't make an Accord Coupe anymore. That was always a neat.
Yeah,
if you want something a little more fun but still reasonable.
Yeah, I liked. I wish. Yeah, I don't think I have any. You know what? I probably have a picture of it somewhere, but I don't know where that would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I could look one up online easily. I'll put one on the screen right now.
Yeah, okay, there you go. There's a picture of my car.
Yeah. Or a similar one.
Or a similar one.
Okay. And then, oh man, I want to say, I'll guess again, was after the Accord the police car? Or was it the
what were you going to say?
Thunderbird? It's either the police car or the Thunderbird, I think.
The Thunderbird was not until I got to Maryland.
Okay.
So it would have been the police car.
Okay, so you said it was a Caprice.
This would have been in addition to my other car.
In addition to your Accord, probably.
Because it was just like a fun thing. So my buddy who so I sold insurance at the time, and my buddy who was in the business with me, he's the one. He was big into buying police cars. He would do it all the time. He'd go to the local auction, and he was like, "Man, you should do this. It's fun."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, sure, why not?" Yeah. So,
in fact, you were not the first person on this show to have an ex-cop car.
Right? No, true. Yeah, because I did see.
No, but this was a.
I did see that episode.
His was this was for the viewers because we haven't specifically said it yet. It was a Caprice cop car, so I believe that'd be like the 9C1 trim from like the '90s, like the whale body Caprices.
Yeah, it was definitely a whale body. It was big.
Like I want to say that's the
car.
B-body GMs.
Big car.
They made taxis of those back in the day too. It was basically the competitor to the Ford Crown Vic at the time.
Yeah. I don't remember all of the details. I remember that I had to do a little bit of work to it. I repainted the car. I think I took it to whatever, Meineke maybe, one of those paint shops.
Earl Scheib maybe, the cheap one.
Yeah, it was definitely a cheap paint job, but it needed it. They made it all one color. I want to say it was kind of like a dark blue, if I remember correctly. Okay. It still had the mirror, the light off the left-hand side attached to the mirror, so you can move that around. Yeah. So it looked like an undercover police car, and it was definitely fun to drive because, people would always move out of the way.
They had like an LT1 or LT4, some kind of V, like the Corvette motor, basically. I think. Don't quote me on that, but it's something powerful.
Yeah, it was powerful. It was fast. It was fast for sure. And, fun for a while. It was, good times. I don't remember when I got rid of it or who I sold it to. I just remember having it.
Yeah. Now, back to the Grand National. I know you said you had that for a while. Whatever happened to that? Do you still have that at this time?
No. I sold that. I don't remember when though.
Okay.
And I don't remember who bought it. I think actually the transaction might have happened while I was in Virginia, and the car maybe I think was in Rhode Island, and
Okay.
they sold it on my behalf. I think I just don't remember. It's been it's a while back, but
No, I'm sure that I was curious. I'm sure they'd be curious too. So.
I wish I had it still.
Yeah, no, that would be badass.
One of the kids that I worked with at Walnut Grill, he had a Grand National very similar to mine, and he would drive it to work, and I was like, damn, I used to have a car just like that. It's so cool. Yeah, it was neat. It was neat.
Cool. No, so then after the Caprice, I think was the Thunderbird. You said.
So, oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember what I drove to. So that all occurred in Virginia Beach,
Okay.
and I ended up going to Maryland, and no. This I would have still had the Accord, and I did have the Accord because I had the two cars. I had the Accord and the Caprice at the same time. So once I get rid of the Caprice, I still had the Accord, and I drove to Maryland in the Accord.
Okay.
Yes.
But no, then after the Accord, there was a Thunderbird, correct?
Yes, I got the Thunderbird from. So I became friends with this kid in Maryland. What took me up there was I got involved with this multi-level marketing company that took me up to Maryland, and this kid who was part of it there as well. Like we meet in this office. I had just got up there. I was like, I need a place to stay, and he was like, stay at my house. Yeah. I was like, okay. And I ended up staying there for quite some time, and they loved me, and I loved them. He lived with his mom in this really nice community. It was called Davidsonville, Maryland. So his mom had a Thunderbird, and I think,
I want to say you said it was like a 97, probably the last generation of those.
Maybe.
I think that was the MN12 chassis, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
I had a Thunderbird too, but it was before that. It was an 87.
Okay.
That was the generation after mine. I think they call those MN12s, but don't quote me on that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't recall why I ended up buying it from her. I don't know. I have no idea. But I ended up buying that car off of her, and that car eventually. No. Oh no! Oh gosh, I'm getting so confused. Okay, so I got the Legend, the Acura Legend after the Accord.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I had the Legend, and of course, we can go into that, but I ended up flipping that car over.
Yeah, well, that'll be a story for another day, maybe.
Yeah.
Or later.
Yeah, and then that's when I was like, I don't have a car anymore because I just flipped this car over. And so she sold me her Thunderbird, and that's how I got the Thunderbird.
Okay, so I mixed up the order. That was my fault. I confused you.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that was cool. So yeah, you had a Thunderbird. We both had a Thunderbird, so we bond over that.
Yes.
There's a lot of bonding experiences.
Yes.
No, okay, cool. No, I'm glad we're gonna have this history too, so you'll remember this in 20 years. The order of the cars you had.
Yeah, exactly, because I never remember. Honestly, I don't. But so the Thunderbird.
You still have quite a list to go, actually.
Do
a little bit.
I don't
you got at
know.
least 3 or 4 left. I
think. Maybe. Yeah. I drove from Maryland to Pennsylvania in the Thunderbird, and I had the Thunderbird here for a little while, and so the car after the Thunderbird. Oh, the car after the Thunderbird would have been the
Benz, maybe?
No, the Infiniti G35.
Oh, okay, so the G35.
G35.
Sedan, right?
That it was a sedan. It was just like I saw the car. I think in maybe advertisements first. I don't think I saw it on the road. I think I saw it in advertisements, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that car is very cool looking. I love the way it looks. It's different." And I had a business at the time, a mortgage business at the time that was doing well, and I was like, "I can afford this car. This is not that expensive." I can't remember. I think it was like 35 or 40,000 or something like that. So I ended up buying that car, and I loved it. It was great. It was, at that point, that was like the nicest car I'd owned because it was brand new.
And those were big back. Like I remember when those came out, and they were popular. The sedans and the coupes, and I know the coupe you get in a manual. I don't know about the sedan.
I don't know.
Yeah, that would be. I'd love one of those. That's
Yeah.
that's like a bucket list car for me, a G35 or a G37.
Yeah,
So,
it was a neat car. I can remember the very first day the day that I bought it and driving it home from the dealership. I can still remember that. And I think I had it 3 years, maybe. I think.
so you bought it then, not a lease.
No, it was a lease.
Oh,
Because
it was a lease, okay.
at that time, leasing was optimal for me because I was like, I'd like
Probably
to get
with
another new
business
car,
and
and it's a
yeah.
business expense. So
That makes
it's
sense,
better
that makes
better
sense.
than owning a car at that point. So no, I leased it, and I believe it was for 3 years. And then when that lease was coming up, I remember driving down the road one day through Wexford in the flats, and right by where Whole Foods is now.
Okay.
And I saw this car coming down the road, and it passed me, and I was like, oh my God, that car was gorgeous. What was that car? I had no idea what that car was. But I was like, I need to find out what that car is because I want it. Because my lease was coming up. And I was like, that car was awesome, whatever it was. And then somehow, somewhere later, I figured out it was a Mercedes. And I was like, I was never going to buy a Mercedes. I was like, Mercedes? No, I don't like any of the Mercedes. Said I would never buy a Mercedes. And they're too expensive. And when I went to the lot to look at it, I was like, I'm getting this car. Even though I swore off a Mercedes. So, because it was awesome. It was awesome, and it had the horsepower. I want to say it had 380, 390 maybe horsepower. It was fast.
That was like a CLS or something.
CLS 550.
CLS 550.
CLS
okay.
550. So it was the four-door coupe, they call it.
Yeah. I have some feelings about four doors they call coupes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get into another episode of that.
Yeah. But I can still remember going down to the dealership in the Shadyside area, and the salesman was just like this young, I want to say he was 25 maybe, kid, and he took me for a test drive in a green one, and I should say, and he let me drive it at some point eventually, and of course he's like, you can drive it however you want. I said, okay. That was probably a mistake.
Yeah.
But I did. So we took it on the highway, and I got it up to like maybe 135 on the highway.
Oh my gosh.
This was on 279?
Probably 279.
279 coming north.
Yeah.
And he was like, let's get off at this exit. I said, all right. I said, do you mind if I test the brakes? And he was like, yeah, okay. So we got off on this exit. It was a pretty long exit, and when we got near the bottom, I was still going pretty fast at this point, and then I slammed the brakes on just to test them, and I think we smoked them a little bit, and because I was going pretty fast.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a small car either, you know.
No, it was a big car.
A relatively large car like that going triple-digit speeds, though.
Yeah,
I could see those brakes heating up pretty quickly.
Yeah, they did. And then we took it back to the dealership. I don't know what route we took, but again, I was going pretty fast and taking corners pretty fast. And then when we got back to the dealership, the kid was just like, holy shit, that was the best test drive I've ever been on. Because I imagine nobody drove the car. He told me I could drive it any way I wanted to, so I did.
No, you drove it the way it was meant to be driven.
Yeah. And then I said to him, I do want this car, but not this one. I said, I want one that hasn't been driven for test rides. And I wanted black anyway, of course.
Yeah.
So they ordered me a car, and then I got my car. And I think it had like 5, 10, 15 miles on it or something like that.
Mileage.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that car a lot. That was a fun car to have.
It's not your favorite car, right?
Actually, that's funny that you say that. No, my favorite car is the car I own now, which is
the next one, right?
My Saab.
Yes. So
I always I would look at Saabs driving down the road, and I just liked them. I've always liked them. And then my friend's brother had a Saab, and when I would ride in it with him, I would just like it. I just like the way the inside was. I kind of like that cockpit interior. I like the way his dash kind of curved towards him.
Yeah, they were very driver-oriented cars.
Yes.
I've never driven in one, and honestly, the only one I've ever been in was yours.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool. I love it.
Yeah.
I want one someday.
Yeah.
Just so they know, the yours is a Saab 9.3 Aero.
Yeah.
A 2008.
2008 Saab 9.3 Aero.
It's only the front. It's front-wheel drive automatic.
Yeah. And it was like it was the car that was in the like the brochure.
Okay.
The brochure book.
Yeah.
So it was on the cover of the brochure, and inside that's the one they used. Mm-hmm. So I test drove 2 vehicles. One was an all-wheel drive vehicle, and then the other was that one. And I liked the front-wheel drive feel better. And I liked the way the car looked, too. And it had all the bells and whistles and whatnot. Of course, at that time, Saab was going out of business. So my friend knew the dealership owner, and he basically, I mean, I don't know if he hooked me up. I think he did. And the sticker on it was like 42, and he sold it to me for 28. So it was a pretty good deal.
No, I know that. My parents bought a Saturn around that time, and I know they paid not much less than that. It'd been cool to have a Saab instead of a Saturn, but it's owning an aging orphan brand car, like my parents and you, it can be hard to find parts, or expensive potentially, or both.
Or expensive potentially, yeah.
But yeah, still, I want a Saab someday. I got a question later in the interview where you'll find out something on the list with the Saab. I have a Saab on my later question. So, but no, like you said, that's your current car and your favorite.
It is my favorite.
And I think it's hilarious that that's your. Well, I think it's cool too that that's your favorite car, and you've had a G35 and a CLS 550.
I
in a Grand National.
I like the Saab better than the CLS. I do.
Yeah. No, I mean it's unfortunate that they don't make Saabs anymore. I think they were always cool, interesting, and good cars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily, when I say good, I don't know if I necessarily mean reliable, but they were always like fun to drive, driver oriented. They looked nice. I always felt like they were quality built cars. So, but we're getting close to the 30-minute mark, I think, Mike. But I got a question for you to wrap things up. If you could have 5 cars in your someday garage, like 5 cars you would someday like to own.
Damn.
Can you think of 5?
Oh damn. Well, I do love that. Was it I can't know because always that's one of the things I get confused about, the Taycan.
The Porsche Taycan.
Is it Taycan?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so I know this. I'm probably different than you as far as this goes, but I really like that car a lot. A 928 Porsche 928.
Okay, yeah, those are cool.
I love that car. The Ferrari was it the 320 GTO or 380?
Like the Magnum PI one?
No. It's oh gosh, I think it's
288 GTO maybe.
What is it?
288 GTO.
I just know it's a GTO.
Okay.
From
back in like the 60s maybe, or is it newer?
No, it's newer than that.
Okay.
I wish I knew the exact model, but that's probably like one of my favorite cars of all time. Like any car that I've seen, I love the way that car looks. Absolutely would love to have that car. And then we are
So that's 3. That's 3. All right.
I'm trying to think. Oh gosh, I don't know what else. Okay, like if I'm going extravagant, probably like the a Rolls Royce Wraith. Okay. I just think that car is so cool. And then a 5th car. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Probably like some sort of SUV or maybe like a truck, like a.
Did you get a Rivian? I know you like that.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you brought that. Actually, I would love to have a Rivian.
Would probably be a Rivian.
I would love to have that Rivian. Actually,
okay.
The SUV. Yeah, that would be awesome. Actually, yeah.
That's your top 5. Yeah, you're probably. You're reaching for the moon, okay?
Yeah, pretty much.
No, that's good though. It's good to have dreams like that. I'm gonna say I'll do mine real fast. I want to wrap it up. I know I'm gonna be similar to the last episode. I think I'm gonna say I want an 88 to 94 Cavalier Z24. I think these are really awesome. Or these are no particular order either. I want an FC RX-7. So that's a 2nd gen Mazda RX-7. It's even on my shirt.
Oh yeah. There you go.
What else? Oh yes, I have a Saab. I want a Saab 9000 Aero preferably. But I take any of them with a stick shift. I think the Saab 9000 is one of the coolest Saabs ever. You know me, I'm a wagon guy. I gotta have a first gen Subaru Legacy wagon. I think they sold a turbo model in the U.S. I'd probably end up importing one from Japan. I know I want one of those. And then the fifth one, I'll add a truck to mine too. I want a Mazda B series, preferably a B2600i from like the late 80s, early 90s. I just think they're cool little trucks, and you know, my whole list could probably be had for like less than the price of like one of yours. I love it.
Well, that's a better deal.
No, but
more feasible.
Yeah.
More reasonable.
I've always been a kind of practical guy with my cars.
Yeah.
I've felt.
Yeah.
But no, I wanna. We'll wrap things up. We're coming up on a half an hour, but I appreciate you being on the show, Mike. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of cool cars in the day, so no, thanks for sharing your time and your wisdom and your stories. So
all right.
I hope to see you back.
Glad to be here, man. It was fun.
Thanks.